Ready to go? All right. Okay. Welcome to Leadership Planning Forum 1. I know you're coming off of two major agenda items. You've been really in the weeds getting some good information. We're going to ask that you raise to big picture thinking. This is the vision for Fort Myers Beach, the mission, the core values, our strategic focus areas, and our goals. That's our objective today. What's really good about what I have in front of you is this long 11 by 17 document, the culmination of everything to this point. Angela and I would have to say, are both super excited about this particular step in the process because at this point, you have so much information that we're at the precipice of creating the strategic plan outline with the vision, mission, core values, themes, and goals. And your job today is to give us input. So it's not to finalize a vision statement, it's not to finalize a mission statement, but tell us what elements or themes you think are important in there. So I want to attend to that screen or this screen. This one's kind of going in and out. Let me do the other one.
Can we just, I promise to be on my best behavior today, but I just have been through this so many times in organizations, and Dan can attest to this. Since when we came on the council over maybe almost 6 years ago, we had a strategic plan done the year before. Dan and I got there, and I think I can say publicly, and Dan, affirm this if you'd like, we have never heard that strategic plan referred to once in the 6 years that we've been on the council. So I guess it's good that we get all of our input on how we feel about this document, but I want to challenge our town manager and our deputy town manager, because this will be kind of your metrics and your guide to run this town. So having us sit here and do this feel-good exercise is nice, but I would really want Will, you in particular, as the town manager, and Tracy, you kind of organizing this, you have a very interesting background, Will. What is the type of document that would actually be helpful to you on a day-to-day basis to govern Fort Myers Beach? In other words, I don't want a bunch of pablum that sits on a shelf for another 5-6 years, and I know that's not the intention of the organizers, but that's been the mayor's and my experience for 5 years. And a lot of that has to do with the town manager. Our town manager, when Dan and I got elected, never referred to the strategic plan, never put metrics for success, never judged his own performance based on the strategic plan. So I think, Will, particularly with your organizational background and your military background, you know, what do you want out of this exercise? And let's get you a document that can help you govern our community. That's just my personal opinion. If anybody can disagree or add to that, I think we need to kind of get how we're going to use this document, because we have a comp plan, and we're going to have an infrastructure plan with the new impact fees. We're going to have all these different dynamics working, and Will, you've got to govern this town on a day-to-day basis. What is it that you want out of this process instead of just a bunch of pablum? I mean, tell us exactly what is useful as a tool to make Fort Myers Beach better and to give you that guidance. Sorry to put you on the spot.
No, it's okay, Jim. I think that what I've seen so far from the team is definitely, I agree, a lot of the data, a lot of the work that's coming from the community, from the staff, now from the leadership team is getting really close to. This is the key point: the mission, the vision, and then, you know, all that data that they collected, that we've worked with them on. In most important for me, some of those MOPS and MOs, measures of performance, measures of effectiveness, to be able to achieve those strategic level mission and vision. You know, those. So breaking it down is what I'm going to want to know. Those specific things. Then I can identify tasks for my staff to do, to meet those objectives. You know, that then meet that mission and that vision.
Thank you. And if I would have you turn your agenda over to the methodology, project plan, and timeline. Phase 3 is where we work together with Will and his staff to ensure we have a plan that's actionable.
What you're going to do today is so important for us to be able to identify those those tasks
Yeah.
that we as a town staff would most importantly focus on. And I would say something that comes out of this too, important for me, is, what's the intent, I mean, intent is really important for me, that this vision and this mission are written in such a way that I can delineate what your intent is. And we can talk more about that if you guys
Yeah,
want to cover
yeah,
that.
and I would like to add that with your input as policymakers, knowing your residents, knowing your constituents, we need your input, we need your framework, we need your opinions to come together as a team and say, this is the leadership direction we want to take, and that will give the town guidance as to what kind of policies you'll be introducing, what kind of actions they should take with their staff, and have an actionable plan. Like you said, Jim, that's not just something you sit on the shelf. That's going to be implementable.
I'd like to recommend that we maybe look at that every year, because I agree with you, Jim. These things are wonderful, and I love these things, but if you don't turn them into objectives that everybody agrees on, that Will says, yes, I can meet those objectives, and then he turns them into tasks and deliverables, it's all for naught.
You're right.
So I think it's something as a council we should look at every year, and we should say, we agree these should be the town manager's objectives. How he gets there is up to him, but we kind of drive this, and we look at the strategic plan every year. It not be an exercise we just do once, but we live it, we breathe it.
I couldn't have said it
It's
better,
also-
Counselor Link, because you're setting the direction, they create the operational plan.
Right.
Then he
And-
meets it or doesn't. It's very
Right,
simple.
and it also, it helps me know what it is you want me to
Right,
do.
I agree.
Right? Therefore, you're identifying how you're going to evaluate me in my, I mean, seriously.
No, no,
That's a big part of it as well.
I
And then
only-
I will use it as a method of evaluating and driving my staff.
I only hesitated because when Dan and I first got in here, our town manager, when it came time to do the evaluation, there was no framework. There
Right.
was no reference to strategic plan. There was no metrics. There was no performance metrics. There was no way to measure success. And it was completely worthless. And God only knows how many hours they spent on that strategic plan, I'm sure in good faith, but it was never
It
utilized.
wasn't
So-
tied to anything.
Wasn't tied to anything.
And
And I hope Talise will utilize this as well for performance evaluations of the employees and each department head, et cetera.
Well, we
et
all
cetera.
will. I
Yeah.
will use it for evaluating my directors. We've had this discussion. I've had it with the staff, and they'll use it for evaluating their employees. And we are going to, more than annual, it'll be like a quarterly review for the staff.
Correct.
Are we meeting these
But
objectives?
just make sure we do this in a way, Will, that it's practical for you to utilize for those
Absolutely.
objectives. Yep.
Thank
That-
you.
I'll
And-
shut up. That-
And I was just going to comment as well. So
No,
that
I
is
think
one
that's
of the
great.
things that's very different about our process and the implementation piece of it. It should be embedded in your culture. So when you're doing town council meetings, if there is an item on there, it should be referencing which of the goals that is working towards. So it's not just sat on a shelf. It's embedded into the culture. Even though you're doing quarterly updates on a weekly, bi-monthly, whenever you're meeting, you should know every time you're meeting how it's tied to the strategic plan.
And I think those goals should also be maybe on a dashboard that the community
Absolutely,
sees. Because
yes.
everybody has
Community
wonderful
dashboard.
ideas, and they're great, but this year, we're focusing on this.
Yes.
And it should also be tied to the budget, so we're not asking Will to do something could
Correct.
never do.
And part of this process, not today, but at the next one, you'll also be doing some, sorry, allergies, some prioritization as well around the goals that you do come up with. Because you can't do everything the first year or second year.
So following up on what you were just saying, when we come back to council meetings, it's really important that all of the items that come before us as a council, before you all, is that there's a specific identification of what action item or what objective there is in the strategic plan so that it drives everything towards one purpose. So we don't have extraneous things happening,
Correct.
that we're driving the town in the direction of the vision and the objectives that you all set.
And I would like to add as well that we have the advisory committees mapping into that. Chris King did a beautiful job the other day talking about her objectives and goals. Let's make sure we're all singing from the same hymnal, and I think we'll grow that much faster.
All right, so I would like to direct your attention to the slide just to reintroduce you to our team. We're proud to partner with USF Florida Institute of Government. We're with Collaborative Labs at St. Petersburg College, and Angela and her team are with USF. So we've done many of these engagements together for lots of municipalities, and it's a really great partnership. So myself, Tina Fisher, Anne Marie, who is a documenter and a facilitator, you'll see her in January at that Leadership Forum 2. PJ, our technologist, and we have Jonathan, our visual illustrator. And then Angela, did you want to say anything about your team? Okay, all right, good to go. You have the agenda before you. Basically, there's 5 things. We have vision, mission, core values with guiding principles, strategic themes, making sure we have good definitions of those, and we have the right focus areas, and then drafting some goals. And then we'll wrap up. So on the back of your agenda, again, you have the methodology, the timeline. And before this, we're hoping you did do your pre-work. You had a lot of real-time records. You had, which were the documents from the Community Forum 1 and 2. You also had stakeholder data, interviews, surveys, employee focus forum. And so hopefully, can I get a thumbs up? Did everybody do their pre-work? Okay. If you didn't, before you, in that massive 7-page, 11 by 17 document, Angela and I took all the golden nuggets from everything that culminated to this point and put it in there, and I'll go through that in more detail so you'll know how to use that as a reference. Also on your agenda, there's some helpful strategic definitions. Starting with the vision, which is aspirational direction for the future. Mission is the reason why you exist, your organization's purpose. Core values, those are your non-negotiable standards. They're what will guide you in carrying out the mission. Strategic theme, also called focus areas. That's the area that the city is going to excel in to achieve your vision. Goals are going to be broad statements. Objectives are the specific outcomes. And then we have the action plans. So you're going to drive input for vision, mission, core values, strategic themes, and goals. And then we will work, and maybe some objectives, if you have some in there, we can provide input. But I will work with town manager and deputy town manager and Angela to refine those for you. All right, turn it over to Angela to talk about what we've done to date.
Yes, so I'm not going to reiterate. I did come and make a great presentation, hopefully to all of you. You did your pre-work. The only thing that I just want to make sure, I know that you have a lot of data coming at you, even just listening to the 2 presentations today. In addition to that, you've gone through the comprehensive, or you're going through your comprehensive plan. You have capital improvement. And so, what we're asking today is that you are the subject matter experts on all of that data, and you're bringing it here with your knowledge as well as your expertise in the community as elected officials. And so we need your brain today. That's what we need. And so that's really all I wanted to say. I'm happy if offline that there were some questions about some of the reports. Happy to answer those in more depth, but I think we have a good summary in your huge document. The only other thing that I wanted to do today before you dive in is I keep hearing a lot about the comp plan. And a comprehensive plan and a strategic plan are, while there is overlap, they are very different and unique. And so this is just kind of a quick reminder that your comprehensive plan is really a framework for land use, infrastructure, and development. That's its focus. It's long-term, okay? It's a long-term vision for land use, infrastructure, and development, where the strategic plan is broader based. It's usually over 3 to 5 years, so it's a little bit shorter. It's focused on specific issues, not just land use development and infrastructure, right? So in other words, there may be communications in there. There may be leadership. There may be other items like Parks and Recreation. There may be other things that come forward in addition to some of the things that are in the comprehensive plan. So again, it is what you talked about at the beginning. The strategic plan is to set that vision, mission, high-level goals, direction for where you want to go over the next 3 to 5 years. And that drives your decisions as elected officials. It drives how the town manager and his staff act on those items. And the comprehensive plan should be a part of the strategic plan, but they do not cancel each other out. So I just want to make that crystal clear. There is a distinction. While there is some overlap, there definitely is a distinction between the two. And so I think that's all I wanted to say, just as kind of a precursor to going into now all of your hard work.
All right. All right. So before you, there we go. So if you would take the big document, the 11 by 17 executive summary, this is phase 1. If I stand here, can you hear me? Does the mic pick it up? Or do I have to stand like right here? I have to stand right here? I'm going to take it with me. I like to walk. Okay, so page 1, if you see in the left column, those are your strengths. From all the different engagements across the top on the yellow, you'll see where the input came from. We have our strengths, treasures, and top characteristics of Fort Myers Beach. So then if you flip the page to page 2, I'm giving you the legend here, the quick and dirty version. All right, so the next page is some input for core values and guiding principles, and you'll see where that came from. And then if you switch to page 3, you'll see considerations, concerns, liabilities and threats, and issues to address. So a lot of that came from the community as well as the employees, so all that is to be taken into consideration. Then page 4 was when we did some visionary activities, both with you and with the community focus groups, so it's future successes, opportunities, visionary goals. And then last but not least, pages 5 through 7, out of Community Focus 1 and everything that led up to it, we have 7 strategic focus areas or themes. We need to know if those are the right ones and have you define them today. And then also look at the following pages with the desired outcomes and come up with some broad-based goals. So again, your job today is to give us some input, some themes. It's not to wordsmith and feel like you have to have the final vision statement today. That's what Will and his team and Angela will do, but we want your input because you have all the knowledge in front of you. Any question about that executive summary?
I have a question, Tina.
Yeah.
When we get to the key emerging strategic themes, would we prioritize them in nature or not necessarily?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
But you may say, we're missing an area, or 2 can be combined. When you start to define them, we need to make sure they're the right areas.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, and then up on the screen again, I just want to show you, and this does not have to take 4 hours. We have a couple different tools for you. We have the handout here. We also pulled together sample vision, mission, and strategic themes and guiding principles from other beach towns. So you can use those as examples. We also included them in our software. And then the really cool tool we have for you is AI-based. In our brainstorming software, I created an agent in the back end using all of your data from beginning of the strategic planning process to now loaded into this agent. So if you say, you know what, we're kind of stuck, we want to see what AI comes up with, just raise your hand and tell PJ you want an AI idea. He'll click the button and you'll see one pop up on the screen. Yeah, so that's always fun to see what it comes up with. It's good to have your ideas first go in there because it builds on your ideas. And then I want to reiterate that you don't have to wordsmith. We just want the elements or the themes that you want in the vision statement, the mission, et cetera. And it's going to be refined, and a draft vision, mission, core values will be presented to you January 7th. All right, and I talked about the samples. All right, so let's jump in. You ready? Let's jump into the vision. Okay, so a vision is your overarching aspirational description of what you want to achieve in the future. So it's your desired future. So we have some examples up here. Hillsborough Beach, to protect our coastal town's beauty and natural resources and provide a tranquil, safe, and peaceful community for all residents. Then Juno Beach said, the town of Juno Beach, a seaside community where neighbors join together to share in our exceptional quality of life. And then Rockaway Beach, a vibrant coastal community with small town charm where residents and visitors can safely live, grow, explore, and connect year round, which I felt was kind of like Fort Myers Beach with the small town charm. I don't know about what you think, but having the residents and visitors together. And then Pacific Grove in California will thoughtfully grow as an inclusive seaside community that protects residential character, historic resources, promotes multi-beneficial development, and ensures respect for the environment. So those are just a few examples. So we have all of you in one team. Somebody would volunteer to grab the keyboard, the laptop in front of you. So we're going to use our software here. I see people being volunteered with pointing of fingers.
I think Rebecca would be fantastic at this.
I'm reading a bunch of notes that I have brought with me.
This is called voluntold. You don't want me typing.
What do you want?
right.
We got to
All right.
type in here? Is that what we got?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, boy. You
All
sure
right.
you want me to do that? Okay.
No?
So easy enough. You have the examples on the screen. I'm going to turn my mic off, turn it over to you, and Mayor, just go around the table, and if there are any elements that you want to include in the vision statement from what you see, and remember page 4, I think it was, had some visionary examples of your executive summary that you can use, but just flip through. Please use your handout because not having copies of all the real-time records, all the stakeholder interviews, I know you have some information. These are the golden nuggets, but please use your handout because it has all the key points that came out of those events.
Are we doing a mission statement as well?
We will do that next. Vision first and then mission.
Well, to me, I think it's been very clear this whole time everybody's been pretty united on, I think you were right on when you said example 3 was probably the closest to what we've heard through this whole exercise and what we continue to hear. You know, when you look through a lot of these documents, a lot has changed since this whole process has started. And I think a lot of it no longer applies. You know, I think we could start, I think number 3 makes the most sense to start off of. I think everybody's been kind of down the same path. It's synergy. How do we keep that residential feel, knowing we need commercial businesses to thrive as well as environmental? Those are the 3 key things I think that we need. You know, we talk about that 4th leg of the stool, which would be, you know, the season, the transient people that come in. So I think the vision statement this island has always been about those 4 things. There's no need that I've heard to change those 4 major components of what the vision statement should be made about.
Yeah, I think the only, you know, I like 3, and that's kind of us, but we're more of a re-emerging coastal community,
Yeah.
or I don't know how to wordsmith that, but
Okay.
we're a town on the comeback. We want to, but we've got that small town vibe. We always use that word vibe, but I want to have that first word be we're coming back, or we're.
It's like a rejuvenation or
Yeah.
So can you
Re-emerging.
type that?
I
Can you
think-
just start typing thoughts that
I
are
think
coming
that-
out,
I
like
think- I don't know what the-
re-emerging?
I think the word maybe is resurgence.
Resurgent?
Yeah. Yeah, that would be fantastic. You would be much,
Yeah.
Until
Yeah.
you're at a good point
where are you going to be able to go to type though?
You want to pull
I
up
think
the
you
chair?
gotta, in order to connect to the,
When will it be reviewed? What was the extent, was it 5 years?
sorry, you'd probably be way better at
5.
typing than I would.
Okay, so it's a 5-year plan. So with
And-
that in mind,
Thank you, Tracy. You're welcome.
we will be building back for 5 years.
We're a community that's building back, and I want people.
Resilient.
That's an
I don't want to
overused
use the
Yeah,
word
it is.
phoenix, but we are a phoenix. we're,
Rising from
we're
the ashes.
reemerging, so I don't know what the word is.
And you can type these words in, this is, because you can type in rising, Phoenix Rising.
Yes.
Type in vibe.
Just
and
keep
hit
typing.
post,
Okay.
And then you can
We're
also get
brainstorming
an
here.
AI idea that might pull it all together
Do
for
you
you.
guys not, do you agree?
I like it.
I think, like rejuvenation, those kind of words, and
Yeah.
it's a,
Reemerging?
it's like it's the next chapter, right?
Yeah.
It's the next
Right.
chapter of Fort Myers. Beach.
Evolving.
Ascending.
Yeah.
Metamorphosis.
That's why I didn't want to do it.
I want people to know that.
So
you-
just
we- we-
remember,
We got kicked down, but we're coming back. And
Yeah.
while we're coming back, we're gonna be we're still gonna keep that small town, the beach vibe, and we're
Down,
gonna be
but
very
not out.
inclusive with,
I like number 3 with your addendum.
I would add to number 3 as well, we're not talking about our small businesses, and they are critical.
absolutely.
so I just want to pause for a moment because I feel like you're talking about where you are today, and that's not what a vision is. A vision is aspirational. It's where you want to be. And so I know you're reemerging, you're rebuilding, but it's that desired future state.
Okay,
Self-sufficient.
gotcha.
Number 3 captures it.
Well, yeah, and I see your point, but in 5 years, we'll still be in the same state. We're slowly moving. I mean, a lot of these bigger developments are not going to happen in the next 5 years. They're going to start.
We're still gonna be in 5 years reemerging, but we want it bigger, better, stronger,
How
not
about-
necessarily bigger, but better, more inclusive, more resilient, with an advocacy for clean water and inclusive with not only residents, guests.
Well, I think balance is a good word.
Yeah,
I think
balance.
5 years from now, we want to continue that balance of where we've always been, between the residents, the seasonal residents, the tourists, the
Businesses.
businesses.
How
all-
about visionary that we're better than we are today? We'll be better.
Well,
than-
stronger. I would definitely say
better.
stronger.
Stronger than you are today. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that implies,
We're weak.
yeah. And obviously, we are struggling to come back, but I don't think you want to have that kind of negative implication in a vision statement, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we don't have to.
I was referring to stronger as far as
Our human-
construction-wise, not
Oh, I
necessarily.
was
I think
thinking.
Not,
resiliency.
not
Yeah,
necessarily
resiliency.
as a community,
people.
but a
Yeah, resiliency
resilience.
is a good word then
yeah.
for that, yeah.
I think we'll be much more prepared 5 years from now than we were the previous 5 years. I think that's important.
How about if we're a model to others for how to do it right?
Well, I think that's certainly what we've,
That's our goal. I mean, that's our goal, and it's kind of happening, because last storm, we were getting phone calls from other cities like,
That's
what
what
the
I can
heck are we
imagine.
doing?
People
What-
will
what
Well,
come
do
to
we do?"
you and say,
I
"You
think
guys
that would
went
be
through this,
more of a
we
mission,
need you."
wouldn't it, than a vision is?
I'm not
No.
sure.
Yeah,
A good we will have been a model, we will be a
that's
model
more of
for
a mission,
others.
right?
No, that's more of a vision.
I think
That's
that's
a
vi-
vision.
that's
That's
visionary. Yeah.
aspirational.
That's
We want to be a
aspirational.
vision, we
Okay.
want to be a model for how to
Rebuild.
how to come back in all, how to bring all these things we care about, our residents, our visitors, our small businesses. We want to be a model
Yeah, that makes.
to emulate
Well,
to others going
because
through
as,
the
as
similar
we're,
thing.
as I think people after us will learn, what we've learned is it's, as much as we'd like to keep what we had, that's just not a reality after something like that. So how, to your point, Rebecca, how do you become a model to say, this is what we did, this is what we wish we would have known to be able to do, and how can we pass that information along to the next person so that they could be more prepared than we were necessarily to be able to react?
I'm sure you have some of those things already in town documents, things that you didn't have that you say, if, when this happens again, we're going to pull out this process or this, and you can share that with other communities.
You have no idea.
No? No?
Yes.
No, we didn't have it either, yeah.
No, you didn't, but
Right.
you've created that
Well,
learning
yes,
curve.
I think to
and
your point, when
would
you,
be-
you saw the reaction and what happened after Milton, right?
Yeah.
It was much swifter than it was.
That's exactly it. So there
Absolutely.
were lessons learned.
Oh,
I
it's-
wonder, are
it's
they
almost muscle
documented? Are
memory
they
now.
available
Yeah.
when someone else takes your seat and they're like, where's the mayor? He's like, oh, he's up there doing it for those guys, I'm not sure. Anyway, that's what I was.
So
I'd
the
be
vi-
interested to see what
model of-
AI has come up with all this There's a
Well,
lot
I
of
think
words there.
the vision should also paint a picture, right? So like when you read, and these examples are just examples, it needs to be unique to you. But when you read a seaside community where neighbors join together to share in our exceptional quality of life, that is very short, succinct, but paints a picture. And that's what you want for your vision. I think I like the Phoenix piece, the model for recovery. All those are starting to paint a picture and tell a story in a very succinct but aspirational way. Remember, the mission is more why you exist, right? And that's the services, that's the infrastructure, that's all of those things, where this vision is very, very high level, where that aspiration, painting that picture, telling the story of who you are.
Do you want to see what an AI
Yeah, let's say what,
Let's see it,
see what
yeah.
Watson says. Or do you have a name for him, her?
I called it Collabs AI.
Collabs. It's not very sexy.
It's not. It's not. You can help me come up with a different name for the next activity, and I'll
For
come
your
up
next
with
medical
something.
test.
COA. We'll just call it COA.
All right. Survey says?
In just a minute. Oh, there it is. Number 5.
Oh, that was a bad one.
Yeah, try again. Total.
You want, they want to try?
Yeah, I don't think.
It even sounds like some place you hide. It's like a hideout.
Yeah.
It's like Key West.
It keeps using, no, it keeps saying haven.
Stop with the haven.
Haven doesn't make any sense. Where did that come from? I mean, it's getting closer. I think, honoring the heritage and environmental and, I think that's an important piece of it.
Like Beacon.
Since we all agreed number 3 is a good foundation, and Scott had a good point about the resurgence piece, so instead of, why don't we just substitute the word vibrant and say a resurging coastal community with a small town vibe. I think everybody loves the word vibe on Fort Myers Beach. Maybe we say a resurging, vibrant, and eclectic coastal community with a small town vibe. Everybody loves the word eclectic on Fort Myers Beach too.
Yeah.
And a small town vibe where residents and visitors can safely grow.
I mean, that thing's pretty good with a few word changes, like
Yeah.
you said. We're reinventing the wheel because that is pretty close.
Yeah.
Did you type all of that?
Yeah, resurging with the vibe, right?
Yeah,
That's-
or with the soul.
A resurging
with it.
coastal community with a small town vibe where residents and visitors can safely live, grow, I don't know about
Small town
explore.
eclectic vibe.
That's right, small town eclectic vibe, yep. Or whatever you want to do.
Hold on.
But as long as
Can you
Tracy
imagine
gets
if
that.
I'd be doing, I'd just be like, resurging.
That can be a model for,
I don't know if we have to,
I don't know if it have to be a model.
okay.
no, but I just,
No, I
let's
think
keep
you-
it
I think you
positive.
nailed
It's
it.
kind of a marketing statement as well as a vision
You want the
statement.
rest of it as well?
Yeah, where residents, visitors could safely grow, live, and connect year round. I think that's pretty,
Get to,
just copy and paste it.
hit post first, hit post, and then you can come back.
You thought it was gonna be easy, didn't you?
There you go, you got it, you got ideas. There you go.
Do we want to grow, live and grow?
I know, well, I think once it's down, then we can look at it and,
So what sections of, can you just like bullet for me, like what are the pieces that you think need to be in the vision statement?
I
Like
think we
what-
almost have it here. Tracy, do you have it?
well, so it'd be, it's reading a resurging coastal community with a small town eclectic vibe.
Residents and visitors, not residents can visitors. Residents and visitors
Where-
can safely live, grow, explore.
Or, yeah, go ahead, go ahead. PJ's gonna fix
Got
it
it.
from Canada and.
Should we add small businesses? Yeah, we keep forgetting them.
That can be in a goal. That should not be part of
Okay,
your
doesn't
vision.
need to be, okay.
How about we're all residents? Because that just says residents, we really have
Yeah.
transient, well, we really have two types of residents. We have snowbirds.
The shoulder.
Well, we got seasonal residents and
Yeah.
residents.
Yeah,
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 we're all residents, so it's inclusive.
yeah.
I'm okay with that.
We're community members, maybe, instead of,
Yeah, we're community members and visitors.
because that
Yeah,
would then,
Community members.
that encompasses everybody.
Yeah, community members actually encompasses businesses.
Okay,
So
yeah.
maybe community members and visitors.
Community members and visitors can say that, yeah, I like that. Did you get all that?
I think there's, well, you can edit it too. I can watch.
And how about if it ends up with forms the foundation of island life? Safety live grows,
I like getting the word island in there.
yeah.
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
So we're saying a resurgent coastal community with a small town eclectic vibe where residents and visitors can safely live, grow, explore, and connect year-round. I'm not sure about the year-round, but I would say, and forms the foundation of island life, of our island life.
Yeah, take the year-round out, and maybe add something like that.
But I still think it should be, I still think it should be community instead of residents.
Yeah, community members.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, make that change as well, I agree with you, Scott.
So can you explain to me forms the foundation of the island? What are you meaning by that?
That's, yeah, I struggled with that myself.
I think island life says a lot about Fort Myers Beach.
Yeah.
People
Live,
It
grow,
is an
and
island.
explore island life.
or experience.
Now,
As
that
opposed to
paints a
sport.
really interesting picture. I like
Island
that.
life is
Yeah,
different
because-
for
So you can
different
say
people.
live-
For
Yeah,
some
some
it's the
people enjoy the
ecosystem,
beach, some people
it's
enjoy the water, some people
Yeah.
enjoy
Some it's
just
square,
living
some
on an
it's-
island,
So
right?
you could say live, grow, explore, and experience island life.
Experience island life. I
Yes.
love that.
That's good, that's good.
Not that it's mine, but I just
Yeah,
check. That was good.
yeah, it means different things. to
The only word I'm not liking, by the way, is resurging. I know what it means, but when you've had a 12-foot surge here, I think maybe we should reconsider the word. Just saying.
Reemerging.
Reemerge.
Reemerging, that's good.
Yes, that
Love
kind
it.
of is your Phoenix thing.
The Phoenician.
I was having.
Emerging.
It's a good thing you moved into government.
A reemerged,
As a teacher.
a reemerging coastal community with a small town eclectic vibe. Where community members can safely live, grow,
Once you have a PhD, do you still use spell check?
absolutely. I like that.
I'm glad you all love me.
I know Joe still uses a
Experience. Is it
calculator.
explore? Did we say explore or experience?
Experience.
Experience instead of
I
explore.
like that too, experience.
Okay.
Small town eclectic vibe where community members can safely live, grow, and experience island life. I like it. I like it. I do too. I think
It's a vision.
I'm curious if
Everybody's
you,
vision's gonna be a little
if
different,
you
but
throw
it's
that
gonna
at
be
COA
theirs.
and see what COA comes up with.
what are you saying?
Don't do it.
COA is your AI. We had to come up with a name for it.
Oh, collabs. Oh,
We're our own AI here.
Yeah. I think that,
Wait, hold on. So you took out, just so I'm clear, you took out and visitors? So a remerging?
And visitors, yeah.
oh, yeah,
We're community members and visitors?
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
So you
we
gotta
changed residents for community, but we want to keep visitors.
keep
Oh,
visitors,
yeah,
yes.
sure.
You gotta copy and paste the whole thing and then there you go.
So I think you should leave the word explore in. So it would read a reemerging coastal community with a small town eclectic vibe where community members and visitors can safely live, grow, explore, and experience island life.
Explore goes out.
You don't like
Grow
explore?
And experience,
Okay.
right.
Yeah, I don't.
You experience things more than you explore down here.
So if we
I
could just
think,
take
I
a
don't-
quick look
Yeah,
and
it's
make
7
sure
miles.
this
There's not a lot of
maps to
Yeah,
what the
it's
people
7
told
miles,
us,
it's
so
not
we
much
don't
to
think we
explore.
were in a vacuum here. So unique vibe, sense of community, welcoming and inclusive, I think that's the island life, it's a little bit different. Preserve community character, that's the vibe. The amenities, beaches, park, that's all economic development, we don't speak to that, but that's an obvious thing. Small businesses, we say all community members. I think we
Survey
took
says.
in the public feedback.
If you go to page 4, just to double check.
Yep.
Community focus group 1 in the middle.
Page 4.
They did a similar activity. So page 4, community focus group.
What's
What
the
is-
most important?
Yep, for
Okay.
Fort Myers Beach Ideal Future, and you can walk from Bay to the Gulf, clear to see sunrise, sunset,
That's
open
experience.
pier, #1 island for families. Yep, and then they talked about unique character, infrastructure, resilience, natural beauty, historical, walkable, backable. Yeah. I like it. I think you're golden. I think if y'all like it, I would drag your sticky dot down to that one, number 12.
Oh.
What's my sticky dot?
Now it says, please drag dots.
Please drag the dot.
This one right here?
Yep.
All right.
All right. Move to mission? All right. Can you have them
I'm so
switch?
glad you volunteered.
Yeah, thanks. It lets us keep thinking.
We'd be at
Hey,
5 right now
Josh,
if he was typing.
can you switch me back to the slide deck?
Thanks, Trace.
Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, whoop. All right, so mission statement. Now, this is where you say this is why you exist. Oh. Mission statement, this is where you say why you exist. This is your purpose and reason for existing. So here's some examples. To maximize community safety, continually exceed residents' expectations, and always provide friendly, cost-effective, forward-looking, and responsive service to all residents and other users of town services. That's kind of a long one. Town of Juno Beach is a partnership of residents, businesses, and town staff, creating a hometown atmosphere that emphasizes community involvement, cultural activities, and natural beauty. Provide services that support a safe coastal community, fostering economic vitality, collaboration, and harmony among residents and visitors alike. And the last one, deliver quality, professional, and public services to all residents in the Pacific Grove community in the region while ensuring high value and quality results. So what I would recommend that you do is take a look at the examples, and I don't know that I have all of them up there. I didn't put the last one up there, but which one do you resonate with the most for Fort Myers Beach as a starting point? And then take a look at your document and see if there's any other words that need to be
some
included.
Clarification, is this why does the town exist, or why does Fort Myers Beach exist? Is this kind of why does this body exist? To support this mission, or
Why does the town of Fort Myers Beach,
The
what's
town.
the purpose? What's your reason for
Our role.
existence?
I think
Yeah.
her question is it the government or the?
Right.
This is the
The island
government.
as a whole.
This is the.
It's the
it's
government.
the government, so
Okay.
it's our role.
It's the government.
So
So
that
I-
makes sense.
Given that, I would say it's number 3, but I'd like to see a piece added where, you know, we've got to protect our environment and our.
The ecosystem.
Our ecosystems or clean water. I mean, we've all talked about clean water, but it's a must, and the town's got to do everything they can to protect that.
Yeah, I think the word protect is important in
Yeah.
the mission statement here. Because I think we're trying to protect, not only just environmental, we're trying to protect families living here. We're trying to protect small businesses living here. We're trying to protect as much as we can the vibe that goes back to the mission statement.
Right.
You know, the vibe and the experience of island life. That's I think what we were put here to do.
Yeah, we're here to protect families and protect the environment and protect.
So we should add the word families in there somewhere and incorporate that somehow, right?
Well, I think
Environment.
that the community, community members, I think covers all of that.
Yeah.
That,
So
you know,
maybe change residents to mirror your vision, so residents is now community members.
Yeah.
Well, if we're fostering a school and all the things that support it, or the things that support people coming here and homesteading with their kids, and then maybe as they get old, they live in the ADU, and their kids now have kids and go to the school. If that is our vision and our mission, should we get more specific with it here?
Well, I think
So
that-
then those goals that we tell Will, we want him
That's
to
quite-
marry
how
to.
specific do you want to be on
Or
a
is that
mission
too much,
statement?
too deep?
You want to make this pretty broad,
You want it
correct?
pretty broad,
Yeah.
because your goals will fit into that.
Oops.
You want it to be pretty broad, but because your goals will go underneath that, but if there's a key word, like family or protect or water, that should go in there, then by all means put it in there.
I think that environmental covers pretty much all of that.
Yeah. But do we want the word protect?
I, 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 I think protect is important. I think what we've heard is, you know, the, the community, you know, community members, I think covers all of that. Yeah. I think that environmental covers pretty much all of that. I think what we've heard is, you know, the, the community, you know, community members, I think covers all of that. Yeah. I think protect is important. I think what we've heard is, people want to protect these things, especially
yeah.
over the last 3 years, you know.
Listen, if we don't have clean water and a clean environment and everything's all mucked up, you're not gonna attract people, nor are you gonna, you want this a place to live, right?
Yeah.
I don't disagree with any of that, but I'm getting back to the practicality of this and Will measuring the success of his staff. And I think a couple things I would add to that, just to make it a practical document. I would urge the word servant leadership in the sense that a servant leader understands that the town employee works for the town, not the other way around. In other words, there's an attitude of service, and putting ego and agenda aside, you put your attitude of servant leadership forward. I think you could measure staff based on how they treat their constituents, and I think that's a great benchmark for you. And I think the other piece of this is what I'd like to see in here. Again, maybe this is too granular at this stage, but I'd like the town to have a sense of urgency about rebuilding Fort Myers Beach. That way, Will can then judge the staff. I'll use an example. One of the things I've been begging for, even though I think we've done a wonderful job of completely revamping our permitting division, I think we need to measure that success. I've asked for dashboards where somebody can go on our website and say, oh, it's just the average turnaround for a permit is 2 weeks. I'm stunned. I heard on the Coconut Telegraph that it's 3 months. But I'd like to see, things that we can measure, that our staff is working around the clock to help rebuild Fort Myers Beach, and there's a sense of urgency about it. So when somebody comes in here and says, oh gosh, I've got a problem with my tax bill, Donna doesn't say, oh, we don't do tax bills here. You have to go somewhere else. She says, no, here, let me give you the name of the appraiser, and here's how you reach out to them. And there's an extra level of kindness and support, which I think we exhibit in our staff, at least most of them. But I think we have to measure that. We have to give Will something to measure the staff performance on, and how they treat their constituents to be the most important thing we do here as a town.
Well,
So-
Jim, not to interrupt, but I agree with where you're
Yeah.
going, and I'm trying to think of a word that really sums that up. And we go back to where we were right after the storm, and it was communication, and it was lack of communication.
That's a part of it.
And I
That's
think
a-
communication
communicates.
covers
And
a
ser-
lot of
but
that
We gotta
information.
throw in service, though.
Yeah, I mean, the data is important. Getting information out, not only lessens staff times.
That one too, Tracy, you don't have to.
It covers a lot of
Where's the
things.
communication in that, Jim? In number 7?
In number 7?
Yeah. She added the servant leadership approach.
About it, sense of urgency and transparency?
Sense of urgency through communication that supports, I don't know.
Well, it's not
A
just through
servant leadership approach via communication.
and service.
And transparency.
Transparency and service.
Throw that in there, too.
Why don't we
yeah.
brainstorm on the words that mean something to us, and then we'll come up with a sentence
Yes.
as opposed to
That's
trying to
fine.
put each word
Well,
in this
I
sentence.
think
So
transparent,
transparent,
Communicate.
communication, a broad communication.
service,
Servant,
Yeah.
servant leadership.
service.
servant leadership,
Um,
protection of the environment. I mean,
You have that.
community. I think you're close. What does COLA say?
So leads with transparency and responsiveness is one of the things I had made a note of. How about balancing redevelopment with community identity?
Well, yeah, a
So-
couple of things I see is not in here, and we're getting very wordy, but just think about too, is community development. That is a big thing that we're part of, is in developing, whether,
But Will, on
but
that-
also public safety, don't forget,
But
Public
on that
safety.
point, though, Will, is having a sense of urgency about rebuilding the island. It doesn't get into the controversy of how we rebuild.
Yes.
But it does create a pressure on the town to facilitate whatever the leadership of the policymakers determine, the LPA, et cetera, everyone, is the guidance. But there is a process of implementation, and a lot of that's permitting, it's variances, et cetera. But if there's no sense of urgency in the town government, we develop a reputation, I think we've
Not
done a
that
good
it's
job.
real.
Not that we've done a nice job of eliminating the bad reputation of permitting. but we want to make sure that we are effective in moving the ball forward and rebuilding. Whatever the direction people want to rebuild, and that obviously.
100% agree.
Yeah, okay.
And I just want
You can measure
to
that.
remind y'all that communication, transparency, and responsiveness are values. Those would be good for the next.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
remember that. Good point.
Yeah, the adjectives.
Yep.
So, yeah, we want to focus on the
Servant
purpose
leadership.
and why we
Those
exist.
are-
Yeah,
those are
servant
values.
leaders,
Yep.
yeah, those are values.
I just
Would
wanna
it
give
also
Will-
be a mission, maybe to what Jim is saying, but in a broader term, is that, could it be a mission to streamline the processes and procedures that result in, quicker, everything we do, permitting, response time?
Yeah, that's good.
Is that a
Streamline the
mission? I think
I think
processes.
that whatever helps,
Because it
whatever.
could have measurable.
Yeah.
Will, you
That's
almost
a-
need to, you and Tracy almost need to sit down and figure out what kind of language you need to then measure.
Well, we
Right.
will.
Okay.
That's
They'll
a
come out
later
of
step
this,
in the
yeah.
process.
So I think you
Obvious.
get a general sense of where we
This
are.
is what will guide
Will
us
drive
in
you.
that.
But I don't think we should come up with that language today,
Yeah.
because you're,
Yeah, I mean, that's where I said it's getting a little wordy. We're starting to
Yep.
get into some of the values, some of
And
the
the,
goals.
and the goals, streamline the
Goals, yeah.
process is a
Yeah,
goal.
those will be goals and objectives.
Those
So
are
let me ask you,
goals.
why does the town exist?
Great.
to service residents. That would be my initial instinctive response.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. To be a servant leader.
To serve residents?
Servant leadership, striving to protect,
Protect the
communicate.
environment.
To serve, provide a safe environment,
Both physical and.
Yeah.
Type, please.
facilitate development, those types of things. Those are why we exist.
That's the question you're answering. Your purpose
Serve
and the
public,
why.
To protect the environment, to, what other ones did you say, Jim?
Well, I mean,
Development.
Will?
to serve, to
Say that
protect,
again.
you know.
Serve and
um,
protect.
I don't
Scott, what
think
did
we
you say?
disagree with any of this,
Facilitate,
Will. It's just,
but you
what
mean-
kind of language is going to help you and
Yeah.
Tracy move the ball forward? I think we're all in agreement on these concepts, but the language itself, what needs to be in that language to help you put this in performance metrics? There's a practical implication dynamic to this. I think we're all in agreement on the thrust of it.
Yeah, I'd like to see all of this, I'm
We're
not kidding,
there.
I'd love to see COA throw all this
Yeah, I mean. we're-
word salad together and see what it
Go ahead.
spits out.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree, Mr. Mayor. Yeah.
Yeah.
While
So-
we're doing that, Will, you've been on missions your whole life. It's all about mission. If someone was sitting next to you in a plane and they said, "What's your mission?" and I'll guess what your job is, what would you say? How would you explain your mission? Because you're probably going to have the best words.
You mean for, like,
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
for my role as town manager?
Yes, yes.
Hold on. No, I mean, I think it's there.
I
It-
think,
it-
you've stated
it's-
some
it's
of
in
it,
there.
yeah.
It's
I
just,
think you should take some time to think about it.
yeah, really, it's to serve
It's
the
to serve.
residents and the staff.
Well, again, you didn't,
Provide.
you said we didn't have to have a finished mission statement in
Right.
today's, I think you've got enough
You've got all
with,
the, you've got all the tools.
unless someone else has anything else they need to add. I think there's a lot of, the direction's there, I think.
Yep.
Okay, so I just want one clarification. And I'm sorry I moved. I was having a hard time seeing. I moved, sorry. So the one thing that I heard from a couple of you was communication. And that being a key part, is that a key part of your mission? And does that need to be in here? It's
Yeah, I
definitely a
100% think
core
it does.
value.
I think communication should be in the mission statement for sure.
Okay,
That is something we had to fight very hard with afterwards
To make happen.
to make happen, and people really responded to it. So, to me, I think that word should be in the mission statement somewhere.
okay. I think other than that, you have what you need nugget-wise.
Nice.
Okay, I have one that came out of Copilot. I'm just going to throw it in here just so you have a potential.
You might have got a little.
It's not
Dot
from
head
the
there.
AI. It's not from our. All right, number 15. Doesn't have communication, but.
Transparent.
Through transparent, responsive communication and collaborative leadership.
Yeah, I think the communication part has to be really spelled out.
Okay, I'll add that.
It was so lacking, and now it's.
To serve and protect our coastal community by fostering safety, sustainability, and economic vitality through transparent, responsive communication and collaborative leadership. Doesn't have enough, it might not have enough in there about serving community members.
Well, I think.
I think it's a start.
Well, the collaborative leadership could be, to Jim's point, that could be through servant leadership, or, I think that's a close start for Will and the team
There.
to work off of.
Yeah, change collaborative
Yeah.
to servant leadership.
It's a good point.
Or can
Oh,
you
instead
have
of collaborative?
collaborative servant leadership?
Sure, why couldn't you? No need to replace one with the other. I think that would be a good start to, now can you put that 15 through 17 together? Oh, you got, or just put 17 into 15? And then that would be something that the staff could then work off of.
So number 15 is pretty close.
If you add 17 into it, I think is at the
Yeah, I
end.
put in collaborative servant leadership on number 15.
See? You're getting good at the typing now. I think it's already in there. It's already in there.
Collaborative and servant, or
Collaborative servant.
Collaborative servant leadership.
I think some had already got it.
It's a good, number 15 is a good start. It is a little lengthy, but if this is conveying what you want, then we can take it and run with it.
is the environment covered?
Yeah.
Like through sustainability?
Coastal community.
We protecting.
Coastal community.
Coastal covers it?
Protect our coast, yeah, protect.
Well, it's something to start with, and you can always massage a couple words here or there.
Yeah, that's, I mean, this isn't the final one, so if you have if you're conveying your mission in this one, then we can take it and massage it and present it at January 7th one.
Yeah, just add something about the environment in there. I think that'll make everyone happy, yeah. And then you can come up with some
There you go.
verbiage.
Boom, nailed it. Overachiever.
Just make a note here to add something about the environment.
When you say add something about the environment in addition to coastal community,
Yeah, maybe it's wrapped in there. Maybe another way to say coastal
I think it's
community
wrapped in there. I mean,
Yeah.
when you protect your coastal community, you're
would
protecting.
imply.
You would imply
I would
that.
think it would apply. I mean, the coastal
think
community
it
is, I think it applies.
Yeah.
And it also includes resiliency
Yeah.
then too, yeah.
How about our fragile coastal community?
I don't want to use that word, I wouldn't want
Fragile's not
fragile.
good.
We're not fragile.
We aren't fragile. You're tough. Not at all.
Right, Jim, negative connotation.
all right, if you're good, oh, you got your sticky dot, all right. All right, good on the mission.
Nice, moving right
All
along.
right. Josh, can you take me back to the slide deck, please?
You're very pensive, pondering.
Mission, where are we now?
So these are your non-negotiable values. These things like transparency, communication, servant leadership, your core values. So if you take a look at the examples, you can see what some of the other beach towns have said. You can also look at, I think it's page 3 that had some of the values that came from the citizens. Might have been page 2. Is it page 2? Yeah, page 2 had some values. So I put an example up here. Stewardship, we are stewards of our community using resources wisely and embracing innovation while also proactively caring for our natural resources. So you have some examples from the beach towns in front of you, but also consider, yes, please.
I think inclusiveness is a good one. I like that word that's on your little cheat sheet here.
I would like to add, and you can describe this however you want, and I would again yield to Will on this, because this will be something you could metric. And it's probably one of the best metrics, is speed to market, speed, sense of urgency. In other words, I'd love to see some metrics for the town of Fort Myers Beach that says, what's the average length of a permit application? What's the average length of, getting a question or inquiry on your water bill resolved? I think we have to have some kind of to Rebecca's point, I'd love to see a public dashboard where people can go on there and see what the actual data reveals. Because I think, first of all, I think the town's doing much better than is often perceived in the Coconut Telegraph. But how would you ever know that except for, we just get less emails? I mean, that's
Yeah.
kind of our measure right now. How many emails does the council get on permitting? Not very many anymore, which is great compared to the way it was before.
And I think a lot of I think it happened a little bit after the storm, is people were unaware where their permit status was.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't being communicated to them.
That's another one.
Through their contractors, not necessarily through the town. So then the anger went to the town's holding up my permit. Well, that wasn't the case in 80% of it. So I think being able to understand, and I think it was out there a little bit back when you were doing those videos where it was, here's what we're seeing in the permitting department that's holding up permits. It's lack of resubmission, it's failure for payments. It's just a category that shows, here's what we're seeing, because I think that sparks people's brains to say, well, oh, maybe I did forget to pay my fees, and that's why it's being held up, and they go in, it happens. So I think just seeing the most reasons for permits being held up, percentage-wise, or here's what our staff is seeing, because it does change. It changes depending on where you are in the ebb and flow of the building market. You'll see differences of resubmittals is probably the number one reason. They didn't realize it was sent back, and I've advocated since the storm for, this is where education part, maybe that's another word you put up there for education part, is if you're a homeowner and you're hiring someone and you're not necessarily here full-time, to include your contact information on the permit, so that when we do auto-generate submittals or things you get that information as well, not just your contractor. And I think more people have started to do it, which has certainly helped the communication thing between them and their contractors, and alleviate staff time answering questions or us coming to them and saying, where is this at? That would be a good part of that dashboard.
Yep. It could even be like a credit report, how many permits were in for 30 to 60 days and how many are, so you can see what's the oldest one, and then we're getting down into the.
Yeah, you're getting
details,
into the weeds, so if we could come back to
maybe-
the values, if you
maybe-
look at the,
But
on,
I'm going to stop, because the detail here is what makes the strategic plan have value. In other words, if we
Agreed.
can't find metrics embedded in this, it sits on the shelf. So if we can create a sense of urgency, better communication in terms of our processes, it's very easy, and we did this in the state government, to metric speed, and how long does it take to turn around this, and you've got red, yellow, and green, and you set up metrics, and those are always shifting. You're pushing your staff, but at the same time, part of that, to the mayor's point, is in how well are we communicating? What's the most common error we see on permitting applications? Because we want to negate that so we can increase the turnaround times. Those are the things that get metriced. Those are the, how long, how many water complaints do we have? How quickly does it take to resolve those about your water utility bill? You've got to be able to measure this stuff, because otherwise this is, again, just a feel-good exercise. So, and that's why I keep shifting it back to Will and your department heads, Will. What are the tools you're going to need to measure success, and how do we incorporate those into this process in a practical way that's useful to you to manage the town? So that, I don't want to be redundant, but I think that's so important.
Well, and to piggyback on that, I think this is important. You talked about this 5 years or whatever. Over 5 years, we're going to have potentially 2 different councils over the next 5 years. So this would also be providing direction until they go through this project again, that Will can fall back on and say, this was the vision, this was the mission, this was the task that was given over the 5 years. It doesn't mean you can't pivot and adjust things, and over the next 3 years, things are going to change, right? But I'm with you. It provides a tangible thing to be able to look back and say, was this covered, was this? And if you don't get granular, you're not gonna have that.
Right. I think what's happening, though, I just wonder about this. I agree with you 100%. You can't change anything if you can't measure it. But I think that will flow real clean and clear after we know what's important. We know what our vision is, the things that we value. And then if they value they're so valuable, get it going quickly, we have metrics to do that. If we value communication, we have metrics to do that. But it's
Yeah.
almost like we
What are
have
the
to know the
behaviors?
buckets and then say,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
what
So-
metrics do we need
Well, I
to
think-
meet
I think-
that value that we say we are?
So what, can I just make a real quick comment?
Where'd that come
Just
from?
something for you to think of. So your core values and guiding principles are how you're going to interact. And in light of everything you have been through as a town over the past year, this goes to you as elected officials, this goes to your staff, and this goes to community members. So what are those behaviors, how you want to engage when they're at a town hall, when they're here at a council meeting, in the community? We heard, I think you have a good list of them: inclusiveness, responsiveness, transparency, open communication. One of the things that came out of the data that I haven't heard you say is respect.
Right. Mutual respect was said a lot. Respect and civility.
That can be measured with complaints. They going down?
Yeah, I think,
I agree, thank you for that.
and that's where servant leadership comes in to some extent, but I think if we could use the word sense of urgency or speed, however you want to say it, but we need to, you can, Newt Gingrich years ago used to talk about the expectation of government. Do you go into your government, your town hall, and expect a McDonald's experience where you know it's going to be quick, you know it's going to be fast, it's going to be efficient? I'm not saying it's going to be healthy, but it's certainly going to be, you're going to have a quick turnaround. Or you're going to the U.S. Post Office, and you know it's going to be painful, and you sort of plan an extra half an hour, or the Bureau of Motor Vehicles, you know it's going to be a 45-minute, so you just plan for the worst experience. So, but you want to have that expectation of your staff that it's going to be that good experience. And I think that could be measured in speed, it could be measured in respect and a courteous approach, and that can be measured. So I think we have to somehow get that into these categories, because speed is a big piece. When people come to town hall, they want an answer. They want things to be turned around efficiently, and they want to be able to measure it. And they want to be, to your point, Mr. Mayor, they want to know that, hey, you're going to get this in a week, and if you don't, we'll get back to you and let you know why it's not. We're going to circle back to you. It has to be that's a communication piece. It all
And
goes
we
under
have that here too.
responsiveness.
There's
Yeah.
timeliness.
Timeliness is good.
responsiveness.
That's a good one.
I always kind of, the speed, I understand the point of the word speed, but efficiency to me is more important than speed. After the storm, the thing that Director Guthrie continued to say over and over, and it just resonates, is slow is smooth and
Yes.
smooth is fast. And too often, if you try to move too fast, you make mistakes, and then you actually go backwards and you lose. Whereas if you're efficient, and if it takes you an extra hour to dot your I's and cross your T's, did you ultimately make the entire thing faster because you didn't have to keep resubmitting? So,
Right.
too often, I think we push staff to say, this person's waiting for this, what's taking so long, and then mistakes happen, and then you come back, and we are starting to see some of those mistakes come back around from 3 years ago and 2 years ago.
So look at
Whereas
number
if we had
8.
just taken a little more time to be efficient, we wouldn't be in
And
some of these
accurate.
situations. Efficient and accurate are very important.
And
So-
responsive.
So the core values and guiding principles is you want to have your value, and then you want to define it. So it can include all that you just said. So number 8, I just put those words that you were saying: sense of urgency, defined as responsiveness, agility, timeliness, proactivity, efficiency. You can change any of those words, but it really, for everybody working for the town of Fort Myers Beach, if you say, okay, our value is sense of urgency, and this is how we define it, you can measure that. And you can explain that. So I encourage you to put a definition in, tweak it as
What
much as you
exactly-
want.
I have a question.
what is agility? How are you defining that in this?
Agility is usually adapting and moving and fast changing.
Well, I know agility is.
Yeah.
What,
How does it apply to us?
yeah, how do you
We're
measure
like, we're
that?
so
Yeah.
I
agile.
don't really
You
think
would
that word should be in there.
Have we had to be agile? Is it a core value of ours?
Well, I mean, we've certainly had to pivot a lot. I mean, if you
Right.
want to call that agility, I mean, to me, agility doesn't really,
Flexibility rather than.
yeah, I mean, maneuverability is, I mean, agility is,
So maybe flexibility.
I mean,
Flexibility is already in.
right.
Yeah, I think we're covered. I think we can take it.
Yeah, do we
Yeah,
even
okay.
need it? Yeah.
All right.
Let's take agility out, and flexibility covers that.
How about consistency? I've heard a lot of,
That's a
one
good one.
person hears this rule, someone else hears that law. Maybe it's who you know. How about if a value is that we're consistent?
Well, I think that
Or
consistency and
equity or
communication.
something.
And I'll just give you a perfect example that we just went through with the town parking stickers. The consistency of the communication was not there. So it was, well, and then we got to that point, but had we've been able to just get the information out consistently, we wouldn't have those type of things. And
So
I'm just
that was
using that as a.
communication.
It was, well, it was,
It was-
and it was, yeah, it was communication is, to me, was a bigger breakdown than the consistency. Because we were consistently trying to do the same thing, but we weren't communicating
Well,
to the residents the information properly.
let me throw something in, another way to think about consistency, just in the meetings that have happened in the last week. So I saw a consistency issue with some minutes said one thing on one platform, some minutes said something different. I think it was your meeting last night I watched, the charter.
It was the charter.
People
review.
had 3 different
We were
copies.
working off 3 different documents. We were working off the original, we were working off the one that was updated, and there was one that was,
I think you made a
online.
good point that said, well, I went to the one online, which if I'm a resident, I'm gonna go online and see what is it, but anyway, so
Yeah, that's good.
consistency is
That's-
that all
yeah.
our data says the same thing. So we get our town staff to think, if I'm updating this, what other things might this apply to? They just have that mindset.
basically,
Automatically.
what was online and what was in our packet were 2 different things.
Were they? Okay.
So-
So that, I'm thinking consistency that way.
Yeah.
I'm sure the laws are gonna be consistent, because that's the code, right? You're gonna treat everyone the
Well,
same.
no, but to your point, some people, I hear that a
Or is
lot
that
too,
just a
that like,
one-off?
how come my neighbor got this and now I can't do it?
I
And,
agree.
I mean, we're
Yeah,
we're
or do
hearing-
I have to know
it's
someone
not
to
as-
get that, or
Exactly.
whatever?
Yeah, well,
Yeah, that-
so that's not the reason, but the perception.
The perception
The
is.
perception is that, right? Because that's not a lot to do with us, that has
It's
to do
not.
with FEMA, because FEMA keeps moving the goalposts, right? So,
But it's hard to be
It's hard to
consistent
be-
in certain things when you aren't in control of
That's
what the
correct,
message is.
that's correct, yeah.
I put a
Yeah.
small definition on number 9. Excuse me, number 9.
That's,
Yeah,
that
that's
pretty much
nice,
covers
yeah.
it, yeah.
So I'm just going to ask a
Service
question,
delivery.
because I mainly did all the data, right? I did all that. So I'm just curious, because one of the things that popped out to me, and what you're just saying as well, around FEMA, and I don't know if it's communication is where this would fall, but it's almost like an education piece in terms of like the town and like its role. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So like, in other words, I think in the data, there was like a disconnect a little bit about what you can control as a town and what you can't. And so I don't know if that's communication, telling your story. I'm not really sure what that is.
It's both.
it's both, it's, a lot of it's the interpretation, I mean, FEMA will have this plan or this rule, but it's interpreted differently by even our staff. You can have one staff member interpret it one way, and the other one, so this guy's trying to get this on the ground floor. Well, he got it because so-and-so said it was okay, but his or her equal on the other side interpret it differently, and they have a different result. So that's where I think a lot of the the disconnect, so people
Okay.
don't understand, well, which, is it what he said or what she said? So there's a lot of.
So how
Well, that
could
goes
we
back to
make,
consistency,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, there's
And
no,
cons-
there's
so
no
how,
consistency.
so how
Consistent
do you turn that
communication.
into a core value though? Because your staff is also going to be.
Well, I'm not,
Well, I think
I'm
that-
not faulting staff at
No,
all.
no, no, but I'm
It's-
saying
Yeah, right.
this is, I think it's consistency,
Yeah.
but there's also that education piece of,
How about,
to the community as well. I mean, it's a
Right.
combination
Yeah,
of things.
It's consistency, it's transparency. It falls into the transparency that I believe. So, because what we try to encourage so many is, you know, you've heard one thing from your neighbor, you've heard one thing from this developer, come in and talk to us. Because one plan is one plan. You know, one house is one house.
Right.
What can be approved at this house might not be able to be approved at the house across the street. We have to be able to communicate that better. I agree, 100%. But it's a challenge. The more we're transparent about it, the better. You know,
Well,
so
and I think a perfect example, Scott, you'll get this, is when you've got people like, I don't understand, my neighbor on the other street, one street over, is a weekly rental, but I'm a monthly rental. Why, how come I can't have what they have?
Because
Because that's the way it.
Well, there's no education there. They don't understand that.
Well, but I think that
Or
goes-
somebody gets something on their house when they're actually in a VE zone, and they can't do what the neighbor down the street does
Right.
because they're in an AE zone. But again, that comes back to,
but if we look at how we communicate and are transparent in all our areas, those things can then be measurable. Because you could simply say, oh, it depends on what zone. You want to know more about that? Go to the website and you'll learn about what zone you're in. Or you keep directing them back to self-help as well as,
Well, I think
So-
in the past, and I think Jim will agree, and most will agree, over the last several years, we've really improved on it. But in the past, it was always, there was a fear of people wanting to come in and ask for self-help because of how they may be treated within the walls of the building. I think we've gone a long way to correct that. And I think trying to get that message out there, or continue to get that message, we really want you to come in and ask questions so that you know. And I think what you've seen, and I've heard from most people that have taken that advice, felt wonderful when they left because they knew they had a clear direction of what they had to do, of what they could do and what they couldn't do, as opposed to what Johnny said on this side or Mary said on that side. They came in and they talked to staff and they had clear direction to move forward. And I think the more we can continue that message or improve on that message, the easier it'll be for both sides.
right?
So the only other word that comes to mind, just again, going through all the data, listening to everything, knowing kind of the history. Remember, some of these don't have to be quantitative, can be qualitative. And the other word that comes to mind, because again, you want your community members as well to say that they're going to follow these when they're interacting with staff or with you, is open-minded. I don't know if that resonates, but
Yeah, you
when
use the term open-mindedness. I think to the mayor's point, I would just add to his point, I think one of the other challenges reputationally that the town had prior to Ian was that there was a fear of coming in with a criticism because they felt like there might be repercussions. It'd be retaliatory. And so I think again, openness to constructive criticism would be another thing that we probably would want to include in one of our values for our town employees, because you can't really learn if people don't feel
Yeah.
comfortable coming in to share with them either a concern or a potential suggestion for an improvement. So again, this gets back to Will and Tracy working their magic to come up with these metrics, because you have to be able to measure them. Otherwise, again, it's
And I think this building will alleviate a lot of the issues that we've talked about in the last 15 minutes. The biggest thing I heard over the last 3 years was, we want to come in, but we don't know where to go. Which trailer do I go to? Do I go to Bay Oaks? Do I go over here? Where do I go? But I think now that we're self-contained and everybody knows where they can go, I think we'll start to see some alleviation.
I
of
think to a
this.
certain extent, Dan, but let me ask this, is availability a core value? Because I hear a lot of, I can't reach them, I can't get an email to them, I
That's a
can't
good
get a
point.
phone call to them.
Absolutely.
Or a return call, or,
Yep.
yeah.
So I just want to be clear that usually your core values and guiding principles are not necessarily metric. I mean, they're there and you know whether you're doing it or not, but it's guiding your decision making. So if you're open-minded, if you're available, if you're transparent, If you do it with a sense of urgency, what were the other words we used? Consistency, inclusiveness, all of those things.
Open
That's
to constructive
Open-
criticism, which
yeah.
could be humility.
humility, yeah,
Collaboration.
Yep,
yeah,
that's good. That's the list.
okay.
Okay, nice.
Well, Jim has blessed it. Let's move on.
Well, so I have a question. So are you
Any
guys
objection?
okay with what you have and letting Tracy, Will, myself, and Tina work on developing the definitions for each of them?
Well, I think just out of the spirit of COA, let's throw it in there and see what it spits out.
Okay.
And then take that, and, I mean, we've got, I think we've covered
Yeah, I just say
everything.
done.
I would I would yield to Will and Tracy
Yeah.
and the team as opposed to some AI trick.
Right.
But I'm not happy with technology.
you're not a computer person,
No.
so I take it you're not an
I
AI
don't
person
buy
either.
into this whole AI.
Well, Jim, you need to
Aw,
get
Jim.
comfortable, because
He's just a
if you want
simple
your
caveman
dashboard,
counselor.
we're gonna be
He
using
knows
some
not
AI.
these modern ways.
Number 11?
Yeah, that's a good point. If you want the dashboard, there's gonna be AI involved. Yeah, I think I think there's enough information there to, I don't think COA did her best work there, or his best work, depending
I don't
on
think so
whatever you wanna
either.
call it. But that's okay. Yeah, I think, to Jim's point, I think staff has got plenty of things and understand the core values that have been kicked around, unless somebody else has anything else they wanna add to it. What's next?
All right. By the way, I threw it into Copilot, and the values it came up with based on 1 through 17 was transparency. We communicate openly and share decisions clearly to build trust. Communication, we prioritize clear, timely, and respectful dialogue with all stakeholders. Stewardship, we responsibly manage resources and proactively protect our natural environment while embracing innovation. Inclusiveness, we value every community member's perspective, ensuring diverse voices shape decisions. Responsiveness, sense of urgency, we act promptly and efficiently, adapting with flexibility and proactivity to meet community needs. Education, we provide accessible information about town processes to empower residents and visitors. Mutual respect and civility, we foster a culture of respect and courteous interactions in all engagements. Consistency, openness to feedback, availability, collaboration, positive messaging, and it goes on.
No, I
All those words
yeah.
can be narrowed down,
Yeah.
and you've got it.
I really like that inclusiveness one where you said the community members, because we hear that a lot too often.
add that one.
People are like, they don't feel their voice is heard. They own a business here, or maybe they don't live here, but they own a home here, but they can't vote here, so they don't feel their voice is being heard. And I think that community member and inclusiveness is an important one.
All right, I just put it in there. All right, cool. All right, next. Yep, we're on responsive. All right, so let me take this so I can see. We have our vision, mission, values, input from you. Quick time check. Do y'all need a quick 5-minute break?
I'm good. Everybody else
You good?
I'm good.
Yep.
Okay,
Power
we'll
through.
keep going, power forward. So now we want to have you give input to these 7 strategic themes. And if you go to, I think it's page 5. I think it's either, yeah, I think it's page 5. All right, so those 7 key emerging themes came out of all the data. It says Community Focus Group 1, but it came out of everything leading up to that, including that. And then Focus Group 2 did their best to put in some words to define it and what desired outcome if we achieved that strategic theme. So what we want to do here is just get your input, your themes, what elements go into each strategic theme. So for example, restoring, rebuilding, and redevelopment, what does that mean to you? And then go to the next one, infrastructure, then the next one, communications and leadership. So what does each of these mean to you? Are these the right 7? Can any be combined, or any need to be removed? Or do you need to add any? Although we don't recommend going more than 7.
Well, to me, I would think restoring, rebuilding, and redevelopment infrastructure could be within that. as one of your definitions or decide? Does it need to be its own category?
No, it can include infrastructure.
I mean, rebuilding and redevelopment, that infrastructure is a big part of that.
I
Go
have a
ahead.
quick question. Would it hurt to just read our vision again?
No, it wouldn't
Because
hurt.
then that kind of
PJ, can you
reminds us
switch the
how
X-Late
we're
back to
all
the vision
tying
just
back up
to-
that. Yeah,
All right, we're going to switch you back to the vision real quick.
just to make sure these things are kind of covered in
Yep.
that vision.
Oh, actually,
We don't have any dangling participles. There we
Right
go.
here.
Okay.
Re-emerging coastal community with a small town vibe where residents, well, actually, I think that's community members and visitors can safely live, grow, and experience island life.
Transportation.
Yeah, this community.
I just want to say he's so talented.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
I don't know, the kid on the bike kind of looks like you without the helmet.
And then after that,
mugging.
where our mission was,
Let's switch to mission. I don't know if you have it.
family, small businesses,
We're going to
Okay.
switch your screen back to mission so you can see it.
So Dan, get him, while they're
Or
doing
can you
that,
just make them all
I,
activated?
if you look at the right-hand column, the infrastructure really needs to be,
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Because you're talking about the wave wall, you're talking about other things.
yeah, it's got so many specific items.
So you can switch to any of those folders that you'd like. If you want to go to mission, round 2 there, you can go to mission and scroll down to the sticky dot one. There you go.
Just to refresh us, here we are right here, right? To serve and protect our coastal community for safety, and economic transparency, okay?
It's the mission, and you were asking about the vision.
Yep, so we did the vision,
Mission.
what came after that? Yeah, the
Mission.
mission.
The mission to serve and protect our coastal community by fostering safety, sustainability, economic vitality through transparent, responsive communication and collaborative servant leadership.
We talk about economic development for small businesses and supporting tourism and stuff, but I'm wondering, should we have something in here about residents, about families, about
Could that fall under,
homesteaded folks?
could that, could that fall under preservation?
All right, thank you.
Yes, maybe it could, yeah. Just so we keep supporting that, we need a school, we are
Family
our
values,
community. yeah.
Community values?
Or community makeup, like the
That's-
makeup
Yeah,
of
that works too.
of the community, what it looks like. It's not just a tourist destination, it's a community.
Well,
Yeah,
that's been the
so-
reemerging theme, I think, through this entire exercise, is nobody wants it to go
Go away,
to one or the other.
right, right. We want to balance that.
So.
No, we're just looking for,
When you think, so what would be really helpful is when you think of, like, for example, restoring, rebuilding, and redevelopment, like, how do you define that?
Well, we could go on forever about that. I think you have a nice list here. In the interest of time, instead of how everybody feels about everything, I think there's a really nice initial list here. I would say, under desired outcome, here's the controversial bullet. Buildings not more than 4 stories according to the comp plan define public benefits in black and white. I have no problem defining public benefits in black and white at some point, that's fine. But buildings not more than 4 stories according to the comp plan, well, we've already approved, for example, we all know about Seagate, but the Neptune is more than 4 stories. So, I mean, are we gonna put the number of stories in here?
well, I think stories, we just agreed
No.
in the current comp plan that stories won't be even be
It- yeah.
referred to.
So that's a Senate Bill 180 right there, limiting the number of stories, particularly with the development agreement and the CPD process.
No.
Again, I'm not trying to get into that fight, I just don't even know why that, we just approved a comp plan that's different from that, so I think that's probably needs to go out. And then, again, under infrastructure, under desired outcome, you've got water taxi. The water taxi is not the desired outcome, it's a water ferry and/or taxi. So if you could just change that to water ferry and/or taxi, I think that would be helpful in the interest of time, just kind of going through these.
Going through these and seeing if we like them or
Yeah, or
tweak
want to
them.
add
That's a
one,
good-
or.
This is just community information. This is just
Right.
one data point. This is not set in stone.
It
This
was
is
like
just,
12 or 15 people.
yeah, this was.
In your community.
No, but it's got some good core
Yeah,
things
but
in
we,
here.
we had just talked about defining public benefit. I mean, that's, look, I know everybody wants it in black and white, but it's
not
a
easy.
moving target. And it's,
As the town evolves, so does the public benefit
Right,
definition, in my opinion.
right, you might want a view quarter, but,
And something
oh, wait,
like-
I don't want 4 stories.
And
Well, if you want a view quarter, you,
And then
I
something
mean,
on the
it's-
south end may be
Bit more.
different than the need on the
Right.
north end. I
Right.
mean, there's all these different, we've been through all this, we've all been through.
But
we've
these
got-
are themes, so
yeah,
we
these
can
are
take
things.
the
And I
specifics out.
understand where everyone wants it defined, but it's really hard to
It's
do.
not black and white.
So here's what we need as facilitators under this exercise to help us. In order for you to come up with goals under the strategic themes, we need to understand what falls under these strategic themes. So for example, if you have restoring, rebuilding, and redevelopment, does permitting fall under there? I don't know. So I'm just saying, I can read you an example of a definition, but we have to come up with the strategic themes so we know what goals that you can then put under there, which then will allow for the metrics.
But wouldn't you have gleaned that from the prior discussion we just had? In other words, working with Will and Tracy, and given the sort of the verbiage that we've used in the first couple hours, wouldn't you be able to discern? I mean, there's certain things obviously on here. We all agree that the beach school needs to be preserved. I mean, I'm not sure what additional clarity you would need. Tracy, I mean, are you lacking in additional input? What is it that you need that's not been communicated?
I think what Angela is saying is that, for example, restoring, rebuilding, and redevelopment, she wants to make sure that we understand, are you going to talk about infrastructure, which will then eventually equate to a goal around, getting more allocations for our infrastructure improvements,
Yeah, I
stormwater,
mean,
et cetera.
But wouldn't anyone say that we should work towards maintaining and making sure we have the appropriate infrastructure to accommodate any growth that occurs on the island?
Agreed.
And making it, I mean, isn't this kind of common sense stuff, or do we need to articulate that?
Are there any of those themes up there that you feel as though need clarification? I guess would be my next statement. Of
Tracy,
those
where did
seven,
the themes come from? Did these themes come from the community as well? Or
I think
they
Angela
are
can
Yes.
talk about where
Yes.
the data came from, the surveys, the community forums.
So
Yeah,
maybe we should
this
just say we
came from
like
all
them
of
high
phase
level.
one.
Yeah, it all came from phase one, and if you think about it, bringing back the school, which theme would you put that under? That was one of the questions the community
Restoring,
focus group
rebuilding,
had.
and
That would
redevelopment.
go
But is
under
that-
restoring.
Is that really the job for this group to put which theme that would go under which category? I mean, you guys, you're going to have to package this for us. I mean, we've given you the concepts, and we've given you the emphasis to determine which category this goes. I mean, we can't.
So I think to answer the first question, I think those 7, I'm okay with those 7 themes. I think
They cover everything.
they cover everything.
Yeah.
Does everything need clarification?
Well-
Like a specific phrase or item you want included in any of these?
Well, I think if you just look at like preservation, like Rebecca and I were just discussing, that has to encompass everything. That has to encompass the vision and the mission statement. It's not just about environmental.
It may be in a couple other themes. It may
yeah.
duplicate itself, but
So my other question is, why do we have to pigeonhole certain things in certain categories? Because
It could be
there's-
in more than one.
There's certain themes on the island or things that fall under more than just one category, in my opinion.
I would think that would make it way heavier and be more important for a goal and objective for the town, right? If we find it in 3 areas, that means it's a low-hanging fruit, potentially, right? It takes care of our restoring, it might solve more than one problem if it's
Yeah,
in more than
I
one
think
area.
And my understanding is that the staff would look at this as a whole. It's not number 1 is more important than number
Right.
7, right? It is a whole, so which bucket you put it in or which folder you put it in, it might be in 2 folders.
It might be,
overlap, might
yep.
be 3
Yeah.
folders.
Why don't we move to the next activity and draft our goals? Let's create some broad statements.
Could we just, and I, forgive me if I missed it on here, but I think, the mayor suggested the other day a potential plaza/office space for commercial on the Old Town Hall lot. And I think that was in conjunction with this desire to facilitate a doctor's office, a dental facility, a physical therapist, the various health options that we used to have on the island. I think that should be a goal for the island in terms of just quality of life for the residents, that to help facilitate, and whether that's a public-private partnership, et cetera. We've talked about a lot of different ways to encourage it. We've tried to put it into some of the developments in incentives with the Meyer side. I just think with this town property now and with this potential idea that's budding, and I think appropriately so. And then we just had our consultant here talk about maybe there's some space in that plaza that's subsidized to incent a doctor's office to come in, a med check, somebody who can write a script. I mean, we need to have those basic, still can't get a haircut on the island, things like,
I'll help
just.
you out.
But I mean, those are the kind of basic services that we need to prioritize as we do our rebuild, and just to enhance quality of life for the residents who live here.
I would say, echoing that, Jim, we have to get, that's one of the lowest hanging fruits. We have to get these basic goods and services back on the island. It reduces traffic, it does so many things that should be one of our priorities, especially in this 5-year plan. I mean, that's a non-starter.
Restore essential services. I mean, that's important.
We're still not there.
Yeah, we're not there, and not only does it enhance quality of life, but to your point, it really helps address our traffic situation.
It does. And it keeps the money on the island.
Yeah.
Well, it all runs together. If you heard, you heard him, Dave, this morning, one attracts the other, right?
Yeah.
Development breeds development. Well, services breed families, schools breed families. It brings people to the island that wouldn't necessarily come here if they just have to leave to go find those services somewhere else.
And I didn't say anything, but I would disagree with him that you need those essential goods and services even for your transient guests, because
Oh, sure.
there's a wedding going on. Hey, where's the florist? Have
Yeah,
big group in here.
Right.
Where do I get ice? I mean, just even getting ice.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I mean, just look
You don't
at,
want
or they
3
want their
hours to
nails
go get
done,
ice,
or
yeah.
I mean,
well, look at it from the public safety realm too. Now, anyone that has a bump, scrape, bruise that requires stitches, they're riding in an ambulance off
Or
the
if-
island.
Or
There's
even
no
just,
place that they can.
even just have an ear infection or pink eye.
Something,
You gotta
yeah,
just
sore
gotta
throat.
Drive off the
or
island.
get stung by a stingray.
Yeah.
I mean,
What are you telling me, Grandpa?
So I made some notes, if we could get some feedback to see if this falls in this category or not. So some of the notes that I had made about this restoring, rebuilding, and redevelopment part would be to utilize better land use patterns. We've been talking about the different zones and what should be, the different nodes, that we're looking at that. So I see people saying stick to the comprehensive plan, but also the responsible redevelopment is that we look for the best node to put those things in and how they can support the restore, rebuild, and redevelopment.
To me, I think Jim's point, that we're regurgitating what we just did on Tuesday. I mean, this is almost a carbon copy. I know that the comp plan and strategic plan are different, but to me, this is a lot of that same information just falls into
It
these
just falls here.
folders.
Yep.
Because
And I'm guessing too.
when
That's
this
exactly what it
information was
is.
gathered, there wasn't a comp plan that
Right.
was amended.
Well, and Mr. Mayor, we just got done talking about impact fees, again, appropriately, but extensively, and we're going to have a capital improvement plan to spend the impact fees, and that's going to have to be prospective, aspirational, and then here it is right here. So, there's a lot of redundancies here, and Tracy, you're smart enough to help us.
I would make a goal. I would put a goal there to stick to the comp plan.
Right, but the comp plan's
On-
different from the capital improvement plan, because that's based upon the impact fee. So we've got 4 or 5 different things working together here, sometimes in concert, sometimes in conflict, and sometimes not talking to each other. So again, that's not time well spent with the 5 of us here, because people smarter than us on staff are gonna be wrestling with these issues in terms of implementation. So you don't need us to micromanage that piece of it. So
Yeah, I mean, on your definition of economic development or the community, I mean, that, I don't see any, I mean, they nailed it. If you read the definition of the desired outcome, I think they nailed it. I don't even know what to add to that.
Well, and again, Will and Tracy and the team can supplement this stuff too.
So
Will,
I guess the question
did
is,
you want to say something?
I think there's a.
Are
the
you good?
important-
Well, you started to, and then, no, you're good.
We're not, the great thing is, all 5 of us meet with Will every week, and Tracy's part of that, Frankie's part of that. Best I can tell, we're all pretty much in concert, and we don't spend a lot of time arguing about any of these issues. We've had our disputes on individual projects, but aside from that, we all are pretty much in concert here, so there shouldn't be a lot of mystery about where we're coming from as individual counselors. And I think at this point, you have the direction to kind of put the rest of the pieces together. But if you don't, I'd rather hear from Will and Tracy as opposed to our facilitators, what you need at this point versus the folks who are the facilitators, with all due respect. What do you guys still need? What are you wondering at this point? What kind of guidance do you still need from the council?
Well, I do like all of the work that they had done, meeting USF and the John Daly Institute, fleshing all of this out. So I hear what you're saying, the definitions are in there. Some of the strategic ways of looking at each one of these buckets is contained in there. And so what I hear you saying is letting us take our knowledge of our conversations
Yes.
and the community information here, working with Angela, and craft some things for your consideration.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay, I think that,
And if I can just add to that, because I think that's a great compromise, let's just make sure that the public has a chance to look at it, because if we're gonna
Oh, sure.
yeah, the
slow
public,
this
the
part
public
down,
will,
then they will.
absolutely.
It's just
but
the first
where all
crack,
these
yeah.
definitions
Yep.
came, where all these definitions came from was the public.
Absolutely.
Public, right.
That's what
And
I'm
I-
saying, but as it gets
90% of
drafted
it's-
as well.
Yep. No
After
rush.
Tracy.
Yeah, full transparency.
so
Well, at this
next,
point in time, I think I will pull a Hope and Crosby and be on the road to Orlando. I will leave you with this thought. MIC, see you real soon. KEY, why? Because I like you. MOUSE. And with that, have a good day.
Godspeed, John.
Watch
Safe
out for the
travel.
trap.
all right, so what
And
I hear
Counselor
you
King,
say-
I will see you in Orlando in a couple of hours.
Yeah, I know, Angela's traveling there next as well.
I'm headed there too.
Yes.
It's a date.
It's a date. So what I hear you saying is that you're comfortable with Will and Tracy, Angela and team to craft goals, define, make the definitions and present them January, or actually, would you present them at the December 16th or January 7th?
Whatever you prefer.
To be determined. It's going to take some time. Yeah,
I'd
because
like
we'll
to hear
need to
from
make
Will
sure
on
we
this-
can get on their
this-
calendars.
I'd like to hear from Will. You look like you're uncomfortable with the direction with this is going.
No, not at all. I mean, I think there's enough here. We'll have to, I think it's good that we take this and the conversations, you're exactly right, Jim, and try to craft it into a language based on all of our interactions. And then come back. I think December 16th is maybe too soon.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Realistically, with everything else. So I'd probably shoot for more something in January.
Yeah. Josh, can you change me back to the slide deck, please? Just want to give Jonathan a chance, since he did, those were his illustrations on the screen from the first 2 forums, the focus groups, from the community. So you'll see that he will take this black and white one. He'll add the right verbiage. But go ahead, Jonathan. Hold on, let me give you the mic.
Thank you. I feel like a councilman. Wow.
Yeah, you can walk around and see it.
Okay.
Please, come see it.
Yeah. Basically, we just focused on some of the key words, some of the recurring words, just tried to bring them to life, you know, listening to the vision statement or the elements to that vision statement, the elements to the mission statement, the key points around core values, and then just trying to bring them up into a visual. And basically, it's you know, the idea of, you know, exploring, experiencing is front and center. That seemed to be the focus point here. You know, it's a great place to be, you know, experience what we have to offer for residents and also for, I think it was seasonal visitors. We call them seasonal visitors. And, you know, just kind of balancing the two. You know, we use the element of balance early on, and I'll just throw that little scale. I like using the little scale there. Yeah, you too can be an artist for just $19.95 a month. We can have. So basically, just, you know, that whole idea of balancing, you know, the idea of protecting, serving. You know, we put the elements down of water and sewer. That seems to be the kind of the basics. You got to have water, right? You got to have sewer, and communication. We'll probably add some more elements around the core values, but basically just trying to sum up the conversation today. So.
You know, these things, you know, Will, these things are really colorful. I think it'd be cool once they're done to have them on the wall in Town Hall somewhere down here, where you could see it. You know, every time you come in, you kind of see the journey of, as a reminder.
Is that $19.95, or do we have to negotiate a price?
1995.
I think we already negotiated the price.
We actually did that in Hernando County. We just finished their strategic plan for the county, for Hernando County, and that's exactly what we did, and they loved it because the public was like, I was involved, they see it, they saw the evolution. It's really a good idea.
Well, I think it would be very educational as we continue to see the homes be rebuilt and new families coming in and new people moving here, that they kind of see the history and how we're moving forward.
And this is their town hall, right? They
Yeah.
come to meetings, they see, oh, they were a part of this, I'm
Yep.
engaged. Yeah. Just saying, this is their town hall. So to see that,
Now, would that go under a goal, or would, I'm just kidding.
Might be a theme.
it's a communication.
Thank you all for your time today.
you.
Angela, anything you want to say about these upcoming dates?
I'll talk to Will and Tracy after.
Okay, sounds good. All right, thank you for your time today. I hope you enjoy the rest of your
Feature or
day.
benefit?
And we have lunch for everybody involved, you guys too. It's back there in the conference room in the back. Go ahead and grab it. Enjoy.
I want to thank you guys for keeping us focused, even with Jim here.
I do apologize for my assertiveness, but having been through this so many times, you all have done good foundational work, and we trust you to help us through the process. So it's only my trust in your, and Tracy and Will's skill sets that I'm yielding all this authority, so.
And you will be thankful because Jim's beach name, as Scott will tell you, everybody eventually gets a beach name. He doesn't know it yet, but his beach name is Filibuster.
Phil for sure.
Jim-a-buster.
Everybody gets a beach name.
Okay, do we need to officially close the meeting? We are adjourned at
cornbread.
12:49.
His beach name is really cornbread.